Hi, I'm Sue Wilson. I'm back again with today's card, which is one of my absolute favorites. I love doing wedding and anniversary cards. In fact, they are my favorite cards to do. I love the white on white. I think it's so elegant. So we're going to show you what we need to use to make this card today. We've got the Spellbinders A2 bracket borders, one of my favorites. You've seen me use them many times. They're really detailed and gorgeous. We are using, for our stamps, the Celebrations Label 1 stamps by Just Right, and they're clear. For my sentiment, I'm cutting it out with the Fancy Frame Tags 2 by Spellbinders. And I'm going to be using a couple more here for embellishments on my card. The Bitty Blossoms, which is probably one of my favorite flowers, and that's by Spellbinders. And the Jeweled Flowers and Flourishes for the little swirly accent. Beautiful in here. Right, so let's start with our background. Now this one I'm going to be doing with the A4 embossing folder by Creative Expressions that I designed called Cascading Hearts. I figured hearts for an anniversary, a wedding card, perfect. So I've got a piece of coconut white card here that's going to create the bottom of my card, and I'm just going to pop it into my folder. Little piece of tape as I do. Close your folder, and let's get our plates. For this we need the sandwich of the base plate on the bottom, the folder with the card, and I use a little shim in the center with my raspberry plate on top. Run it through our grand caliper. And let's see, pop this out, stick this to the side, and take off our tape, and I'll show you what a beautifully embossed card we have here. See the detail of those hearts? Really, really stunning. Okay, so in fact, I'll go ahead and put this on my base piece. I've got some mounting foam set up. Get this ready to go, and then we'll move forward. I like to use the mounting foam on my cards because a little bit of dimension, I think, adds interest. There we go. That looks good. Now I'm going to set that to the side and do some more cutting. I've lined up the bracket borders with one of the decorative insert pieces and then one of the cutting ridges at the bottom of this piece. So let's get our cutting plate. We'll pop that on there. In fact, we're going to do a little bit more cutting, so we might as well just add it onto our plate and see if we can do it all at once. I've got the sentiment that we've done with one of the Fancy Frame Tags 2, and I'm going to make a flower later with the Bitty Blossoms, so let's just pop that one on. I think we can get them all cut. It's nice having the big A4 platen to work with because you can do more at the same time. Let's see how it looks. That's cut well. We'll set that aside. That's cut. Let's see if this needs another pass. Ah, beautiful. I think we're here. Let's take this one apart. Got your removable tape, so just go slow, and then we'll take and pop that into our rubbish bin. And then let's just take this apart. And I've got a little piece of wax paper in there because this is very detailed, so that'll help release this one. There we go. Take the wax paper off, and I've got just a little piece of tape left. Let me just peel that away. There we go. Now, I've got a beautifully detailed cut border at the bottom, but we're going to add a little bit of stamping above that. So, let me find my U-mount. I like to put a piece of U-mount under whenever I stamp clear stamps. And I've got one of the borders here from the Celebrations Label 1 already mounted onto my block. I'm going to use, in fact, I'll tell you what, we will even give it a little wipe with our anti-static pad. I'm going to ink this up with a clear perfect medium. And because it's clear, it's easy to see where you're stamping. In fact, I'm going to turn that around, and I'm going to just line that up with the detail in that die cut. Pop that right about there. Give it a good press. A little bit of rocking back and forth. There we go. And I've used a clear embossing ink there, so you're not going to be able to see it just yet. Let me get the powder on it. And I'll put this underneath it. Set that over there. I'm going to use the Cosmic Shimmer True White embossing powder for it. Oh, that looks really nice. And let's put this away. Having a little piece of copy paper under you really helps save your embossing powder. It makes it go further too. Okay, so let's emboss now. I know the white on white sometimes is not easy to see on camera, but in life, in real life, it is beautiful. Your recipient will really see the beautiful detail in this. Now, I could leave it like that, but I think what I'm going to do is let that cool for just a second, and I'm going to add a little bit of Enchanted Gold gilding wax to it. It's a really soft, very, very pale gold. And all you need to do is rub your finger in there and just highlight the top there. Very soft, very subtle, and it's just picking up that embossing as you go along. Isn't that pretty? And it kind of just draws your eye in a little bit to that stamp detail on there. Really love that. Can you see that? There we go. Just glimmers as the light hits it. It's gorgeous. Okay, let me take this off my finger so I don't get it onto the white card. I'm going to be using a little Grime Boss here to clean up. Okay, and put this aside. Now, give me a second to put on some mounting foam on the back of this because we want to raise it up for a little bit of dimension. I'll just put a strip here. And probably one more right down by the detail. And we're going to put it to the top of our card. And right, I'm going to leave a little bit of an edge there, I think. That's pretty. Okay. Now, let's start adding a little bit of our floral elements to it. So I've already cut out the Bitty Blossoms die here. So let's just take it out of the die. And I like doing this one. It kind of rolls away. There we go. And pop this one out and just get it started, and it peels right away. Very, very easy. And I'm going to add a little more of my Enchanted Gold on here because I just love the way it looks. And it'll draw your eye into that flower. So we'll just add it onto the tips of these petals. Very soft, very elegant looking. And it only just takes a tiny bit. You turn that around. There we go. And I'm not going to put any in the very center there because that's where our flower is going to be seated. So you don't want to have a lot of product on that. Makes it a little more difficult to adhere it. Use my Grime Boss again, wipe that clear. So next what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll this. Now if you've got a quilling tool, that makes it easier to start. But if not, just bend the end in from the outside edge here And we're just going to start rolling it. And it's a little fiddly in the very center, but once you get it started, it rolls really nice and easily. And as I'm going, I'm kind of forming it a little bit. You can also use a stylus to it with a foam pad if you want to give a little bit more definition to your flower. You can make it any way you like, and this is just the quick and easy way to do it. So I'm going to get all the way to the center here. Now, when I get to this point, I let it go, I set it down, and I find a glue dot. Because I find this is the easiest way to do these. And I take that glue dot and put it right on that center piece there and peel it back off. Okay? So I've got that sticky center piece ready for my flower, so I'm just going to keep rolling it around, and I'm going to seat that on top of that. And then we can just do a little bit of forming with our fingers. Get that ready. And it'll just pick up the highlights with the Enchanted Gold. Okay, so that one's ready to go. I've also done another one. And then I've cut one of the jeweled flourish dies, the little swirl there. So we're going to use that. And I'll put that on with a glue dot. And I've got a little piece of tulle, which I think is really pretty on those wedding cards. So I'm going to pop that on there first. And I'm going to kind of work around that. We'll put our flowers on, and then we'll set our leaves and our flourish in place. So I think I'll put that one there. And I've got a little one, which is the smaller die in the set. It's the same exact way. You roll that around. And then let's do a couple of the leaves. Now I've also added a little bit of the Enchanted Gold on the leaves too. So we can kind of stick those underneath and form them up. And you can take more time when you do your card and really decide how you want your flowers to sit with the leaves around it and whatnot. Just to give you a couple of quick ideas. And maybe one more flower here, or one more leaf. And let's cut this little swirl into a couple little pieces, because that makes it easier to use too. Remember, you can always nip your dies apart and use them in different ways. That you don't have to use them all in one piece the same. Tuck that under there and use this little teeny piece here. Tuck that under. We'll have that one kind of coming out from down here, I think. So that's looking really pretty. Now remember earlier we cut the sentiment, so I'm going to go ahead and take this one out. Take off my tape. It has a little bit of wax paper on it too, so that should help it release. There we go. And I have an On Your Special Day, so we'll put some mounting foam on the back of that. And even if you want on here, you could take a little bit of your gilding wax and just rub it around to kind of pick up the highlights in the background on that too. It's really subtle and soft. And then we'll just finish our card up. Put that here. And I think what this is missing now is just a couple of little pearls. So let's add some 5mm pearls here. Maybe one here, and maybe let's put one right down here. We'll just pick them up off of our backing sheet, put them into place. Oops. Get back. And right there. Oh, it's looking so pretty. There we go. So we've got a nice, quick, easy card for you to recreate for any kind of wedding, anniversary, special occasion, anything that just suggests on your special day. I've really enjoyed making this one. I hope you've enjoyed watching.